cyborgs, and welcome to a book tag. As you have already deduced from the title, this is the afternoon tea book tag. I was tagged by Victoria over at A Hermit's Progress. She is a fairly new booktuber, and her channel's tagline is "Because books are better than people." So she is a woman after my own heart. I highly recommend that you check out her channel. This tag was originally created by Chelsea Bartlett over at the channel by the same name, and she just seems like one of the sweetest humans on planet Earth. I recently watched almost all of her videos because she's also a fairly new booktuber, and her video on her adult Harry Potter series inspired, nay, coerced me kindly into picking up Luck in the Shadows by Lynn Flewelling, which is a high fantasy series that Chelsea returns to time and again in Turmoil and Joy, is coincidentally also a 7-book series, and apparently whose dynamic duo Sarah Gill and Alec made it into her answers for the afternoon tea book tag. So excited to give this a try. I'll have to tell Chelsea what I think of it, but please go check her out because, as I said, sweet human being, new booktuber. Support the newbies. Question 1, The Tea, a book you find comfort in. For me, this is Lyriel, the second book in the Abhorsen trilogy by Garth Nix, though technically Sabriel, which is the first, is kind of a prequel to the Lyriel duology. That's my opinion anyway. Lyriel is a 16-year-old girl who's grown up with the Clare, who are kind of prophets, and she's not one of them. She looks different from them. She acts different from them. She's very shy and introverted. She works in the library because that's the only place that she gets comfort from and feels safe. And in Lyriel, she has to magically create herself a friend because she doesn't have one in real life. When I read this, when I was about the same age as Lyriel, I connected with her so much, and I still do when I reread Lyriel. It's like I'm becoming reacquainted with the person I was 10 years ago and learning to cut her some slack. 15-year-old me did not know what was going on, and I really should have cut myself more credit back then. So Lyriel is a way for me to kind of go back and commune with my very confused and pitiful 15-year-old self. Question 2, Scones, a big but delicious book. For this, I chose Cushiel's Dart by Jacqueline Carey. I will link down below an author spotlight video I did of Jacqueline Carey. It's old, not very well put together, but still adorable. Cushiel's Dart comes in at around 1,000 pages, mass market paperback. So it's a big book, and it is absolutely delicious. A courtesan in this second world where their companions, kind of like in Firefly, so it's not illegal, and they're actually like skilled professionals, these courtesans, and they are often involved in court life and court intrigues and politics, so it is very sumptuous. I highly recommend you check it out if it sounds like your cup of tea, because it's one of my favorite series. Question 3, Clotted Cream, a book you didn't like at first but grew to love. I've actually made clotted cream. Now, I don't know if it was like legit clotted cream, but I took cream and then it became clotted. The method was you like bake it on really low temperature for hours and hours, and then you skim off the crust that forms. You pack it into a Tupperware and put that in the fridge, and then after it's chilled, you've got this really thick, it's almost like buttercream. I liked it, but yeah, it is a bit squidgy. You know, it's an iffy substance because it's not cream and it's not butter and it came from milk and it's is it cheesy? You don't want to question that. Anyway, the answer to this question is Foreigner by C.J. Cherryh. I read this for a book club. It was a really hard book to get through. It was really slow and I didn't understand what was going on for the bulk of it. But when I was talking about it during the book club meeting, I realized how much I actually really liked it. I've read the second one in the series and I really want to read the third eventually, but this is a 20-book still ongoing series, so I'm in no rush to catch up, especially since they are slow reads, but for me, they're just, you can count on them, and it's about being a foreigner. It's about these humans that settle on this alien planet. You follow the ambassador to these aliens, and he's been trained as well as they can train him, but the real thing is that the humans have no idea really how to function with these aliens, who are very big and like to assassinate people. Running ensues. Question 4, finger sandwiches. A book you like but is not quite satisfying. Now, I kind of disagree with the whole sandwiches not being satisfied thing. I would say the finger sandwiches actually are satisfying. However, I will answer the question regardless. My answer is Absolute Midnight, the third Abarat book by Clive Barker. As you know from my BookTube anniversary favorites video, I adore Abarat. The second Abarat book is also wonderful, Days of Magic, Nights of War. But the third one, which came out about 8 years after the second one, it was completely different in tone. It was completely different in pacing. It was just there was a weird insta-love thing at the end. My friend and I, who adored the series, were just not having it. We want Clive Barker to just stop. It's supposed to be a 5-book series, and we just want him to stop right there. And we can make our fan fiction, and we can finish the series ourselves with our fan fiction, which will be better than the way things are going right now. So yeah, Absolute Midnight, unfortunately, a big disappointment for a series that I adore. Question 5, Jam. Your favorite pair, characters that are just sweet together. I had a hard time picking this one, but in the end, I came up with Calvin and Hobbes because they're so cute together. I think it's in the volume Yukon Ho, where Calvin and Hobbes get into a row when they're off running away to the Yukon, and Calvin marches back home. And then when he gets home and his parents ask him where Hobbes is, he says, "What, Hobbes isn't back yet?" And so the parents have to go out and find Hobbes, who has apparently gotten lost on the way home, and ooh, it's so cute. So yes, Calvin and Hobbes. Question 6, Petit Fours. Your favorite short story or novella? My favorite short story, I would have to say, is All Summer in a Day, which can be found in A Medicine for Melancholy short story collection by Ray Bradbury. I first read All Summer in a Day in 7th grade, and it has made such an impact. It has just ingrained itself into my brain. I can still remember that the main character's name is Margot. I just remember being flabbergasted at the amount of emotion that came out of me out of that story. The premise, I won't spoil the ending though, is that Margot and her fellow classmates, I think she's like 11, but I'm not 100% sure there. They live on a planet where it rains constantly. The sun never comes out, and once in a long time, the sun will come out for an hour or something like that. And it's just heartbreaking what happens. So I need to reread it because I haven't read it in ages. So far, I've read only 2 collections of Ray Bradbury short stories, but I've enjoyed the heckadoodles out of both of them. So yeah. All Summer in a Day by Ray Bradbury. Question 7, Strawberries and Cream, a dynamic duo. This did not take very long for me to discover or figure out or decide upon. It is Skullduggery Pleasant and Valkyrie Kane from the Skullduggery Pleasant series by Derek Landy. I have said it before and I will say it again. Please read the Skullduggery Pleasant series by Derek Landy. Pick up Scepter of the Ancients, which is the first one. If you can get your hands on it, listen to the audiobook because Rupert Degas, who narrates it, is amazing. I could listen to that man talk about practically anything. Skullduggery Pleasant is a walking, talking sorcerer skeleton. You learn why in later books. And Valkyrie Kane she starts out as a 12-year-old sidekick. He is sarcastic as all heck. Valkyrie keeps up with him at every pace. It is wonderful, 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 wonderful. And finally, question 8, your favorite teacup, a beautiful and fragile character who is too pure for this world. I had a hard time with this one. Gut reaction was Luna Lovegood, but I thought that was kind of obvious, and also I am not as well versed in the Harry Potter universe as a lot of people on BookTube, so I decided upon A through L from The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valenti. A through L is the progeny of a wyvern, which is a 2-footed dragon, and a library, and he calls himself a wyverary, and he is responsible for cataloging all things A through L, so he can tell September anything she wants to know as long as it starts with the letter A through to the letter L. He is just a darling and probably very much too pure for this world. Well, I believe that is it, my fellow cyborgs. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Victoria, for tagging me. It is so much fun to feel a part of the community when you are recognized by a fellow creator on BookTube, even though you, my gentle viewers, are also just as important. I hope that you get to sip on some glorious tea and maybe even munch on some Petit, and until next time, continue to be lovely. The cat is using the cat potty during my outro. Glamour is where I live.